Hey everyone, this is episode 75 of Noodle Time. Welcome back. Here with me is OSG, still in off-season mode, but finally with some Dash news.
Bro, about friggin' time, man. I can't. It's been waiting forever. I think I aged a couple of years waiting like we had the promise dates, then we had the promise date, and then like, oh Jesus. And like somebody even said if she would just stay off Twitter and go hire a coach, we'd be fine.
Right.
But yeah. Anyways, like you said, off-season mode. It's the day before Christmas as we're recording. So it's signed 2 days ago, 3 days ago. So this is a finally exciting time, and I actually like this coach. But man, what's up with you? We got a guest in today to talk about it. Some Dashville news.
Yeah, here with us is big Dash fan HaDee, long-time Dash fan that we've got to know very well for a while now, and we've been suffering together as well. So how's it going, HaDee?
It's been pretty good. I'm taking this as a early Christmas gift, even though it's been long in the making. But yeah, it's been some welcome news. And hey, out with last season, in with this, and after the Maria news and the way that things went down with the draft and the expansion draft and a few other signings as well, I think we from what was ending as last season's like just abysmal to now, it just feels like okay, maybe we're back and it's gonna be great. It's been great otherwise.
Oh yeah,
Hey, well,
and just to give I was gonna give a little bit of context before starting, but it was funny the way how the news were announced, because OSG and her mom recorded the last episode, and right after they recorded that, the news of Fran Alonso came out. First from Theo, and then the club announced it the same week. So it's definitely a subject of conversation worth an episode. That's why we're doing this in the first place. But OSG must feel very good about it.
I'm just happy they're friggin' announced. I don't care if it was like we had to record and then once we finished, we pushed stop and then they announced the damn coach. I was like, fine, whatever. Let's just put the episode out. Because we did our episode last week and we did it the last 3 weeks of news that happened with Dash and happened with Dynamo. The only thing we were missing was a coach. So we were kind of talking shit about, not really talking shit, but we were talking about Alex not making the decision. We think we got the coach, but they won't announce it. And the Dynamo and Dash don't ever announce anything anyways. You always find out from a third-party source who always knows somebody who knows somebody that had. So like somebody in Scotland was the one who announced it, and then it just kind of bled down the line. Then Theo got it. Then the Dash are like, well, we gotta say something now. It's out the bag. They're always last. They won't let us know shit, but that's the style. I'm fine with it. We just ain't getting no leaks anytime soon. But man, like we recorded, like hit stop, and then there goes the Dash coach. So like and he was coming back from Venezuela. I almost told him, like, when he got off the plane, I was like, hey, bro, let's edit that part out and just me and you just talk about the Dash coach and then put it in there. But I was like, forget it. Just release the damn episode and hopefully we can record the Dash episode soon. So I didn't bother him. He was coming back from 2 weeks spending in Venezuela. So yeah, bro, I'm like, sorry, I didn't want to bother you this time, Fox.
It's just good to be back, honestly. And I'm just reading all the news while I was there, and how the Dash protected themselves from in the expansion draft and all that. It's definitely interesting how everything's turning out, especially when it comes to a big year for Alex Singer and the Dash. Obviously, a year without starting the year without a head coach, and we've been waiting like 2 months for the announcement at this point. And obviously, we've known that Alex Singer, the team, has been working on this for a while, but at the same time, I feel like the timing of it has been a little bit annoying, especially with how all the teams in the league are working, and also are kind of like announcing a head coach right now, and we got a few months left in the off season, and there's still gonna be a lot of work to do. But obviously, credit where credit is due. We brought in Fran Alonso, and we can definitely start talking about it.
Well, dude, it's. I mean, that name and the resume he brings, it's got to make us feel a lot better about how long we had to wait for it. Last year we brought in Lady, and people were happy with Lady. Some were not happy with Lady. He had a good resume as an assistant coach. He had great tutelage, so you were expecting a lot out of Lady. So now I think it's going to kind of be the same thing, but this guy's got a better resume, and he's better known, and he's more prolific to the women's game than Lady was. He's even got history under the men's side. His Pochettino was his tutor first over there, so this resume is going to be bigger and better, and so I think we're going to expect more. And as we get into it, I think he fits the mold that the Dash were looking for in this coach, and that attacking style. Pressing pressure, not sit back and defend our goal line and not be able to do anything with it. And so I'm ready to get into this one. This is going to be fun. I can't wait till the season starts and see what this guy can do and what players he can bring with him, what he's going to do with the current players that he has, the formation that he's going to decide to go with once he evaluates the players. So interesting, man. I'm interested to hear what HaDee thinks about Fran Alonso. Just on the first step, we've hired Fran Alonso.
Yeah, there's just so much to get through, and honestly, I think that in the NWSL, for me, I was one of those people who was excited about Lady. He had quite the pedigree. Everyone from that side of the country was literally swooning over him, saying, "Oh, y'all got a good one. He's one of the best in the league," and we see what happens. Experience is what does well in the NWSL. Need to have that head coaching experience, and I think Alonso checks off all the boxes for just to say at the very least. He's won 3 trophies over the last few years, and we'll get into this record soon enough.
Immaculate record, bro. Immaculate record, too. 3 trophies in 4 years, like you just said, just turned Celtic women's soccer around. They're killing it in the Celtic League right now, and just the way they play. And I was watching some highlights earlier while I was waiting for 11:30 to come on, and it's going to be fun one this year, right, Fox?
It better be, because I'm tired of suffering, especially after last year. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Obviously, my main concern is how a Fran does with the current roster. Obviously, he's going to bring in his own players, but the important one is going to be how these new players mesh together with the ones that we have in the current roster. Obviously, the main one just being Maria Sanchez, recently just signing a new contract. Now he's the highest paid player in the league, and that's going to be the one I'm going to be looking forward to the most, because she's going to have the most expectations out of the squad potentially. And yeah, just a lot to go through. And also, she might hate me for saying this, but it might just be like a version of our Carlos Zamora's, kind of like the transition maybe, but we'll see.
Why would you even think that, to even say that?
Yeah.
Bro.
Well, bro, it's Christmas. You can't be spoiling it like that.
No joke, bro. He come on, nah.
I'm expecting coal in the proverbial stockings for tomorrow.
Yeah, bro. I don't know where that intuition's coming from, but get out of here with it.
Yep.
No way. I mean, I hope 1,000% that you're wrong. Now, that's obviously before he even starts and coaches us or whatever. If he sucks, then who cares what he does next year? No. But if he's a Juan Carlos type and brings the team up, bro, better not be going nowhere. He better not be going nowhere. And I think it's a move he wanted to make. Scottish League is not a prestigious league, obviously, in the women's side. They got the WSL that's number 1 over there in Europe, and then you have NWSL that's obviously number 1 in North America and South America. And, Liga MX is growing pretty quick, but I think that's a move that he was very interesting and looking forward to make. And obviously, when you're performing that well and you're loved by that team, and the players love him too, and I think it's just a move that made sense to him. So, there could have been other versions of him coming to the U.S. I mean, he's coached men's and women's, so I think he's here to stay, and we'll see him for at least 3 to 4 years based on his performance. Obviously, I don't think he's going to be an in and outer like your feelings. So I'm throwing rocks at you.
Yeah, I think you're right on that account. When you look at where he was at Celtic, he had the Women's Champions League that he was coaching through. He had the Scottish League, and he was absolutely adored by the Celtic fans. They loved him. They thought he was going to change everything, and he has so far from what he has done. It's just with the latest spat between not really a spat, but they had those disagreements on like how much money he was going to get for players between him and the board, which kind of ultimately led us to have him, consider us and us for able to just snatch him up right out under Celtic's nose. So I think it's he has this opportunity in front of him. He's not going to waste it. He's going to want to take both hands on it and take it as far as he can. And I think if he has that mentality, if he tries to replicate what he did, he's going to be an NWSL legend. And I don't think that's too much of a hype without, if we just remove playing from the factor. It's more or less like he in his quote, he said he wanted to. This is what he's been waiting for. This is the opportunity. So if that's the case, then this is the only place to go, but up.
And just stick around and do it. You've been waiting for it, and this is what you want. There is no moving up in this league. It's build the team you got and make them the best, and go get that dang trophy. You don't need to move anywhere else in the country. He's Spanish. He's from Spain. He coached in the Premier League at first under with God, what was it? With Pochettino, wherever he was at, West Ham or whatever that club was that he was at the time in 11 through 14. And then he went to Everton for 3 years, and he was coaching women's at the same time when he was at Everton. So he's doing both. He can multitask. And then he went to Leeds, or however you say it. And then from there he went to Celtic. And you mentioned how they love him, bro. 76, 11, and 9 at his time with Celtic. 76 wins, 11 losses, and 9 draws, or 11 draws and 9. No, it's 11 losses. Sorry. What a record to have in 4 friggin' years that you're there, bro. 14 1-1 this year, 81 goals in 16 matches, and I believe they only gave up 9. Now, again, that's the damn Scottish League, but still, yeah, that's just 81 goals compared to 12. I'll take it. I'll take it, bro.
I mean, you can say whatever you want about whatever leagues they're in. I mean, when you have like a 79% win average through your time there, I mean, that just builds a culture of winning. That's something you want. That's something you want to, that's kind of the hype you bring and the expectation as well. So I'll take it. I'm not leaving without it, honestly.
No, yeah, and just based out of this, like considering his background and all that, there's definitely something that they're trying to replicate with the Dynamo. And like for fans that watch the Dynamo, that also watch the Dash and see this, it can be easy to like notice that they're trying to be the Dynamo in a way, to like replicate that model of success. And that's also one of the things that I was gonna look forward into the season, because this might be like the last chance for Alex Singer to make a statement that there's significant improvement, or there's improvement coming to the Dash, because like the Dash have been a pretty good spot before Lady, and this year is going to be important, not just for Alex Singer, but also for Dash to like stay on track, not necessarily like to like win a trophy right away, but rather they have to improve. Like it can be like for the Challenge Cup, or just try to make a run in the playoffs, because last year, like through 2022, like out of the window. And for me, like Alex Singer, like needs to figure that out by now.
Yeah, I think this is me personally thinking this, but Alex is even though she doesn't have the experience that Pat had with previously with Columbus. I think they're currently running like similar courses when they first started in each side of their of the organization. I mean, Pat came on. He that was the whole the first year with Nagamura, and that's a year none of us want to remember. And I think we saw that, uh, Alex Singer have a similar experience this last year. It's abysmal. But seeing with the roster moves that she made before that and what she's done so far, even without a head coach, and seeing who she brought in, I think this is I agree with you. She has one last chance. I think we'd all like to see that she take it with both hands and knock it out of the park. I think that there's the fact that someone as ambitious as Alonso, seeing what he wanted in terms of the control and the type of players he wants to bring in. That's something that you need signed off, not just from the GM, but from Ted. And Ted shows what he was willing to do, especially for the Dynamo. Who knows? We'll see.
Well, and credit to the analytics department or whoever helped her find this guy, or whoever reached out to whether it was him reaching out to us or our, I kind of hinted like it was our department that put his name on the radar. And then just big shout out for Alex for going and hitting the 8-ball in the corner pocket right there and grabbing him and bringing him in. So this is going to be exciting. And then she makes, we're pretty sure that he was already decided on. And then the Maria news got announced. So I think they were just kind of waiting on that. And I'm sorry, Alex, you could have signed her without knowing who your next coach was, no matter what. She wants to be in Houston and she wants to stay in Houston, and she loves Houston, and Houston's been every opportunity that she's ever wanted and needed. And so she's going to continue it here. So sign Sanchez. Now we got the coach. I'd be curious to see what else can be brought in. We still have pieces that are needed and spots that are open, some depth. So it'll be interesting to see where we go from here.
So yeah, and trying to see what else we could talk about since.
Okay, well, let's just no, don't say not much, bro. All right, so jump into it. His style of play, what he brings to the table, and what he incorporates with his current Celtic teams, and who he's learned under his tutelage, Pochettino, and what's his name, Coma or whoever that was at Everton. I don't remember
Coleman, yeah.
Yeah, so their attacking style play, where they're pushing the ball at the field, they're pressing, and they're forcing mistakes from the opponent. So that's exactly what he's going to do here, and it's something that we did not see one bit last year. We sat back, we parked the friggin' bus. Lady never made one adjustment to let's push up and attack, and he did it like into the games when we're losing 2-0 already. But bro, it's too late when you've got the players that have been doing it and shown that they could do it. So it's going to be an attacking style. It's going to be a pressing style. He runs a 3-back currently, but he is open to running a 4-back. So expect a 3-back with those wing backs working hard. And if you go back, like I said, I was watching highlights and just kind of checking out to see what kind of play they were playing with. Those wing backs are wide. He's got that left wing back. He's got that ring back. He's got 2 strikers up top, and he likes a target striker. Diana Ordonez is that target striker. So, i.e., guys, I'll even let y'all go. BioCity did a quick interview with somebody from the Celtic side of things and just asked a few questions. So if you don't mind going to BioCity and reading that article where they asked some specific questions. But Diana Ordonez is that target striker to the style of play that he enjoys playing, where that ball is coming in through crosses and working down the middle, working down the wings and coming into the middle and finding that striker. So this could be a rejuvenation for Diana Ordonez. You've got Sanchez on the left. We got to figure out that right wing now side. We've got, you still got a Losey could work with Ordonez. You don't know. There's still time. There's still options. The window is open. So the style of play, that's what I'm very curious about, and see what style can he incorporate his style with our players? And I believe the answer is yes. I don't know if y'all agree.
Yeah, I agree with you. Looking back at the last 6 games, which was, I like to think this is more towards his style of play, and he pursues a more attack-minded strategy rather than just the state of the league. but but Celtic had a aggregate score of 33 goals for and 1 goal against in the last 6 games. And so maybe it's their league, maybe it's the type of play that he likes to have. And I think we've seen in the NWSL, like defensive-minded teams, sure, like they're great. The Dash were one of the best defensive teams last year, and wasn't great. Attacking mindset wins in this league, and having a coach that pursues that, I think, is going to be beneficial to us. I think that's what fans want. I mean, scoring goals is what brings fans into the stadiums. It's that thrill. It's it's what he has. It's what he's shown. It's what he can do, and I think we have the players to do it. We've besides the players you mentioned. I believe we have Grimaglia, Paulina from Argentina, back with us, and maybe we'll see more of her, more of signings from him, and who knows, more European talent, just like we have Putnam in the midfield. We'll see if anyone else who's going to be able to fill in on the wings, or see more like midfield, attack-minded midfield. Because lately, like I think the last 2 years, we've seen more like our midfield is more like a build-up, and we play on the wings. So I think by pushing forward with a front three that's more pressing towards the goal, we're going to have more of offensive-minded midfield as well. So I think we're going to have options to open up. We'll see some signings in the coming future, and I think overall we're going to see a type of Dash football that we haven't seen since the Challenge Cup, since Daly's was around.
And to make it a little bit clear, real quick, Pastor, I think it's going to be a 3-4-1-2 style of formation, with the 4 having those 2 wing backs, and then you still have your attacking mid with 2 strikers. I'm not sure if it's going to be a 3-4-3 or a 3-4-1-2, where you let those wingers are free outside, and then they work that ball towards the middle and find that target striker. But you're not sure. Just it was kind of hard to tell, especially when you're watching highlights. I didn't watch it like a full game or anything, but again, curious to see. All right, sorry, man.
No, you're good. I just wanted to compliment what HaDee said, because the Dash weren't just like one of the best teams in the league defensively, but they were the best team defensively, and that was one of the things that I was considering. Like with that when they announced a Fran right away, because the transition towards just like either try to stay as a defensive team, or try to do like something similar to that. I feel like he can definitely build off of that, and yeah, that's one of the things I was excited about. So yeah, just to consider that. But yeah, I do agree with both of your points, really.
It's curious to let's just start in the back right now. It's curious to see what he's going to do with that, if he does with a back 3, and who he goes with the current players we have now, and not bringing anybody else in. There's still options to bring somebody in, but who's he going to go with? Obviously, we saw who the favorites were last year. You know, I've still got one sitting on the wall back behind me that I still like pretty much. But it's curious to see what we could do, because I would kind of like Lind in the middle, Prysock on the right, and Jacobs on the left side of her. And I know you got Puntingham, but I wasn't too thrilled about Puntingham and her particular gameplay. So I think we could do better. And then let's go back to Jane. Totally difference last year, where we parked the bus and the defense was right in front of her all the time. So there was less opportunity for her to be bored and come out of the box and make those stupid mistakes that she was typical of making the year before. Now that we're going to be pushing back forward, I hope that she doesn't fall back into that state and just put herself in situations that can hurt her more than if she just stayed in her box and on her line, to where she is just the greatest keeper in the league. I'll say it, the greatest keeper in the league. So I'm hoping that works out to our advantage as far as the defensive line right there, man, and just keeps it together. You're still going to have Sophie Schmidt in the midfield. So the other midfield position is going to be curious, because Vigiano is officially gone. We brought in Brie Bell from San Diego, but she's going to be an absolute backup. I don't see her making a starting. She only played 7 games last year for for San Diego, so I don't see her coming in and being starter. Sophie Hurst was a nice like for some of the fans and the coaching staff last year. Really, the coaching staff more. So she's somebody who could fill that role. You're still going to have Andres Alves right there in the middle. Maria Sanchez will be out on the left. Obviously, you got a hole in the right. You got Ordonez up top. Where do you put a Losey? Can a Losey be that right wing back now again instead of the right striker? There's very, very curious as to what we can do right here, man. And there are some players that I've seen, and I can name some of those players on the roster. But whenever y'all are ready for those,
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, that preview is gonna be great. But I'm just gonna go ahead and say it right now. This is gonna be Barb's here.
oh, okay, no bias there, eh?
No bias. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm down for her. I like the way she plays when she was able to get in on the field and play. So no Joella Anderson no more. So somebody does need to back up Andressa Alves, and that's obviously Oliveri's position. So now she immediately comes to backup. Can she work her way into the starting position somehow? We don't know. That's something to figure out. Can she play both mid positions? So it'd be Schmidt, Oliveri, and Alves. That'd be very interesting to see how that works and if that can work. So yeah, man, I'm with you. I'm down for that too. And then, like HaDee said earlier, Gragmali, Polly, I'll just call her Paulina because I always mess up her name. I think it's back from Argentina. I don't know if her contract's up or if she still has a year left on her contract, but she did okay in Argentina last year. Where she was playing, she went to the World Cup. She was doing okay. That's somebody who's got a lot of potential, and she's built like a rock too. Like she's got better abs than half the men in the world. So she could do something that's special. So we've got options. Like I said, we still need to fill some roles. There's a current player on the Celtic team that's on loan from Real Madrid that Alonso really likes, and that she really likes Alonso. Her name is Paula Portito, and she's got hair. She's got a lot of hair, but she plays that right wing. She plays that right wing back, not like the fit was. She plays right wing midfielder, so she's working that ball up the field. And like you saw a lot of action come out of her side whenever you're watching Celtic highlights. And the last game you saw 11-0 HaDee or 13-0. The first 4 goal was 3 assists and a goal from her just to start off the highlight reel. I'm like, Jesus, okay, I like this. All right. She doesn't have blazing speed or anything like that. She's composed. She's technical. She's intelligent. She plays the game the way she's supposed to play it. And I'm hoping that's somebody that would love to follow and come to America and make that move. And so that's a name to look out for, y'all. Paula Polito. Or Partito. Sorry, Partito.
Good. Yeah, I mean, I think based on what you said and seeing how like his players liked him, he could have that pull to bring in other players from Europe. I mean, he's got the connection. I mean, to bring someone from Madrid to Celtic. I know Madrid isn't really considered the best team in the Spanish league compared to Barcelona and their history of winning, but to have that kind of pull anyways, that's very important to us, especially. The NWSL has recently been getting more players from Europe to come in to play in our league, just so they actually see value in the NWSL as a top league. I mean, for the most part, most of the top players play within the WSL in England, or they play in the Spanish league, partly for Barcelona. But to see that the NWSL be more of a primary destination rather than the ending of a career for a lot of these players, that's something that's going to be, I think it's going to be pretty incredible for players across the pond.
That's the difference between men's and women's. We're not a retirement league for the men's per se. We're getting away from that name, but players like to come here and play.
For sure.
No, yeah, and the Dash could really utilize a game changer like that, as someone that can just you can rely on to turn the game around despite adversity, and I feel like that just coming out of last year, I feel like that was someone we definitely have the pieces for that when it comes to that type of scenario. But obviously, when you have one more option, then the game can completely change out of that.
There's also another player on Celtic that is drew some speculation just because of the coach. But she's an American who plays for Celtic. She's a striker. She's a target striker. She scored 8 goals. Currently, she's injured right now, but her name is Kit Lefersky, and uh, that's somebody who could play next to Ordonez. Like I said, she's an American, so why wouldn't she want to come back home, play in the best league? I don't know what ended up putting her in Celtic, but if she's good enough to play in the NWSL, maybe that's somebody. Obviously, I don't think both those players are going to come. Celtic would be really mad if we just stole their coach and then their core, and then be like, "Don't ever make a deal with us again." But how often does that happen anyways? But they're just names to look at, one or two of them coming over and filling those gaps that we need. And, we're so very curious, very interesting again. So this got Dash fans just hyped back up again and excited to see what the season's going to bring. And then, like we said in the last episode, the schedule has changed. There's now 2 new expansion teams. So now we have 26 games, so 13 home games, 13 away games. The Challenge Cup has been washed out per se. Now it's just going to be a 1-game matchup between the NWSL winner and the Shield winner, which will be played on the Friday as opening weekend. And I think it counts as an actual NWSL game as well at the same time. And then we go to Paris, or the the Olympics is in Paris this year. The NWSL will take a break from the regular season, and they will play an international tournament. They haven't announced the teams that they'll be playing, but assuming it'll be Mexican teams and maybe a couple other from somewhere else, and just kind of be a random tournament for those teams that stick around with the players who they didn't lose to the Olympics. So, going to be interesting. It'll be better. So no in-season tournament this year. They'll be played during the season. So just a in-season tournament that won't affect, and it'll be played all at once. Kind of like the Leagues Cup. It's exactly like the Leagues Cup, to tell you the truth. But.
Sounds like a better version, honestly, but oh well.
Yeah, we're just going to be missing. Go ahead.
That's not gonna lie. That's news to me. I was still under the impression that the Challenge Cup's still alive. That's a little disappointing. I mean, I understand like the whole theory of load management and limit the amount of games you play, but I think having these in-season tournaments is very important, not only to like the league itself, but to like for youth players who often don't usually see game time unless it's like during the Olympics or during international games where you have like a ton of players that you normally see 0 to like 2 games a season usually start getting this time to actually be incorporated as part of the squad.
Yeah.
And that sucks. That sucks that that's the case. I'm just processing it right now.
Well, I mean, those players will still get their opportunity with those players who are our national teams and going to the Paris Olympics. We're going to be missing Diana Ordonez, Maria Sanchez, and most likely Alvarado. Of course, sucks for Alvarado unless she's starting for Mexico. She would have her opportunity. Jane Campbell's getting a U.S. camp. We don't know if she's going to end up being with the team for the Olympics or not. I hope so. She's getting that opportunity. Alves will be with Brazil, most likely. Alozi will be with Nigeria. You've got other players that we're going to be missing. So there's the opportunity still there, and they're going to have a whole month to play together instead of last year. The group play was involved, didn't interfere with international dates, so we weren't missing those players. It was only when the World Cup was happening and those final 3 group stages is when we got to see some other players get an opportunity to play, and it wasn't very long. So this may benefit more into seeing those type of players that usually don't get a lot of minutes, getting more minutes and seeing how they fit. Granted, it's in the middle of the season, so I mean that's okay. It is in the middle of the season, so you may find a diamond in the rough. Oliveri may not be getting much playing time for the Dash, and then our players take off and leave, and she starts every freaking game in this new, we'll call it Liga Cup, and she may like become something special, and like, hey, there's that diamond in the rough. I didn't realize how good she could play with the team on the field, because sometimes practice doesn't translate to game, and vice versa. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, so no more Challenge Cup, unfortunately. but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Let's just say that. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday games for the NWSL next year as well. So we will have a few Friday games, which will make it hard for me to freaking get off work early enough to make it down to Houston for those games. But damn it, I'll find a way.
No, honestly, we need more Saturday games. I'm tired of Sunday and Friday games. We only get like barely. I feel like we barely get like any home Saturday games.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. It's just tough. It's tough for a lot of, especially since it's just kind of like the trope. But women's soccer is more family oriented, so you see a lot of families come out. So when you have like late Sunday games, it's hard for them to like draw the crowd and the people that are quote unquote the target audience. And Fridays like for like me and OSG, trying to get out like get from work to Shell Stadium or Shell Energy like before like game time at 7. That's also rough. So hopefully more Saturday games.
Pretty friggin' rough. But let's also, HaDee, you probably don't know, there's a lot more coverage this year as far as TV spots too. So there will be a Friday game every week, it sounds like, during the season. And I think Prime is one of those, Paramount Plus is one of those, and there's a couple of other streamings that will be providing providing coverage, and then there's going to be more national coverage too. So do expect some random schedule every weekend. We don't know what we're going to get, but you're going to get Friday, Saturday, and Sundays. Obviously, Saturday will have to be Dynamo on the road for us to have that weekend for a Saturday. And then like you said, them Sundays are just tough because then I got to drive back after the game. And like I'm hoping like it's not late at night. And then I'm also like I like watching Dose when I'm in Houston for that same time. So those are the same times. So I kind of like watching all three on the weekend. But whatever. Like maybe we get a dash 6:00. Finish that game, run over to pitch and watch Dynamo at 7:30 and Dose on Sunday, and then come back home. But we'll just have to make it work. Obviously, we won't be able to make every friggin' game just because the schedule is going to be a little wackadoo.
Yeah.
Man.
No, yeah, I feel like that's a lot, a lot to go through. But yeah, we still got a season ahead of us, so it's gonna be good.
And there is a couple of other American players on that Celtic team. I keep saying American because sometimes Americans want to come back home. One of them didn't get no playing time, so we're not even worried about her. And then another one was another midfielder. So there's just another name out there that Alonso could bring, and it's very. We'll see what kind of pull he has, like HaDee said earlier. And so he's got some history in the English side. He's Spanish, so he's got some pull in Spain. Now Scotland, playing the way he does, like he had to take notice. So very curious as to what the next move will be for the Dash, and we should expect a signing. And the draft isn't until January 12th. We don't have that early pick. We don't have that first pick, I should say, or third pick, whatever it is, because we traded for Ordonez and gave that pick up. So it'll be curious as to what we can do in the draft, and it shouldn't be nobody too exciting. So we'll see. We still got Ryan Garys who might be able to pop back up in this type of offense. But you're right, Fox. Yeah, go ahead, HaDee.
Regardless, we're going to have to be ambitious with our signings and our quote-unquote pool. Seeing how Gotham's really kind of like turned its way around over the last 2 years, they've been very aggressive, especially now that they lost Christy Mewis. They're already in talks and getting Rose Lavelle straight from their rivals over across the country from Seattle. I mean, to take someone like a big player like that, that's pretty ambitious. You can't really just, in this league, it's hard to like get these big players away from these teams. So you're seeing teams that are like Gotham being more ambitious, and other teams that are expanding themselves. So, as much as like it's nice that we're getting these players, but we as well need to be more ambitious than we ever have been. So it definitely needs Alonso and Alex Singer to both hey, we're here now, but we got to keep climbing, keep pushing, keep fighting to build this roster to be the baddest Dash roster we've ever seen.
And I think they will. I think they're going to be ambitious, like you say. I think they're going to be one of the ambitious ones to try to, like Fox pointed out earlier, Singer just kind of been, keeping the heartbeat, but it's really low, faint, and she needed something. She needed to make some kind of move to make something happen after the ridiculous year we just had. So Alonso's going to be great. Santa Maria is going to be great. Now we need to go out and find some pieces. You mentioned Rose Lavelle, so can she be linked with Houston? Mallory Swanson's a free agent, but it sounds like Chicago's going to hold on to her and not let her go. So that's kind of disappointing. We could have used her, but whatever. There's other names out there too. So hey, push the limits and let's go out there and let's become a friggin' NWSL champion. We've only been to the playoffs one time. We've only had one friggin' game and we screwed the pooch on that one. So we need to get back up there. And for Alex Singer's sake, I hope she is ambitious with the moves. And obviously Ted's not going to hold her back and Jessica O'Neill's not going to hold her back looking from the Dynamo side. They are we'll say they're two different entities and they're not the same, but they pretty much mirror each other with the way the Dynamo are going to, the style of play, except they play four in the back. The Dash are going to be kind of the same thing, a possession team, pushing the field, attacking, wanting to get those goals in, and then just defending well. So it's going to be very interesting next year for the Dash and the Dynamo having good seasons together at the same time. I don't think we've had that in history.
Yeah. Just gotta keep the ambition up, especially this year coming up for Dash.
Yeah. Well, HaDee, Surge member, bro, I hope to see you more at the games next year. I'm hoping that I see you at the actual Dash games as well. And maybe if we're ambitious enough, we can get us a small group to go to an away game for the Dash and go support our girls elsewhere and enjoy those atmospheres. We tried one last year, but we ended up failing. So I think we should hit it up again and make it work. We need to wait for the NWSL schedule to come out. Let's see if we can get a twofer in some town. Go watch a Dash game and a Dynamo game in the same city away. So very, very interesting, bro. But anything you would like to say or shout out before Fox takes us to the end?
No, I think it's going to be seeing what's going to happen next season with all the new teams, the new plans that the Surge has. I think this might be a season we're going to be looking forward to and one that we're going to be remembering for quite some time.
100. Fox, how you feeling about this year, bro, before you take us out?
Excited. A little bit nervous, but I just need the Dash to win some games. That's it.
Yeah. Please. But yeah, bro, I think you're right, Fox. That's about it, covering it all. When we talked about him as much as we could, we gave some details. We gave a little history of him. We gave the style that he's going to play. We put out the interest of possible players. So now we just need him here. I don't know if he is actually here yet. They said they weren't going to announce him till the New Year, so I'm pretty sure he's still enjoying his vacation with his family or his off season with his family because now that he's not, because Celtic was playing. So I think he just straight up left him. So he's going to enjoy a break with his family for Christmas and New Year's, and then he'll be in Houston probably the first week of Houston. They'll do a press conference, announce him, and then that's when we get the ball start rolling. First game is March, blah, 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 middle of March. So he'll have 2 months to work his butt off. So exciting. And like I said, January 12th is the draft.
Yep. Yeah, looking forward to that. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for this one. I thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and, stay little, y'all.
Merry Christmas, you guys. It's going to be a good year for us.
H is up.